So the age of my students at school, they're grade 4, 5, 9, and 10-year-olds, and they're starting to use social media and platforms of chat and communication outside of school more and more. And just the other day, outside of school time, I found out that one of my students, who appears to be very kind and gentle and quite precious, had messaged something very nasty and cruel to another student. And when I spoke to her today, she just said, "Oh, well, I didn't mean to." And I said, "It was such a surprise to me that you did," and of course the disappointment phrase. But she said that she didn't mean to. And oftentimes we can react through our words and react with our body when we don't have the clarity, the space, and the time to just let things settle for even a moment before we then react through our body and our words. So today I'm going to share with you a quote from a man named Young Pablo, who is the author of a great book called Clarity and Connection. So as you sit and listen through the ears of your physical body. Notice where you feel certain words that might spark a resonance, and then we'll use that little spark to set your own intention today. You can change your location, meet new people, and still have the same old problems. To truly change your life, you need to look inward, get to know and love yourself, and heal the trauma and dense conditioning in your mind. This is how you get to the root. Internal changes have a significant external impact. Internal changes have a significant external impact. If anything sparked for you there, if you notice the behavior of your body listening in a certain way or even a certain part, pay attention. As your body speaks to you, it's probably needing something. And today on your mat for the hour, you get to work at intending to maybe move and change some of where that energy might sit in stagnation, and start to bring about this space, this clarity in your body, as well as your mind. Please set your intention by bringing your hands and palms together. And with this meaningful action, as you hold still and true, your practice and everything that it means to you, may you intend and let it be purposeful, so that you create the meaning on your mat today in order to possibly make the changes that you need. Then take a deep breath in with it. Exhale, side out, let it go, arms relax to your sides. And you're going to start on your back today, so don't get too sleepy, but rest on your back, knees, thighs into chest, and take little rocks from side to side. So just acknowledging your back body and how it grounds to the earth here. Your hands might come to the knees. You might draw some circles on the ceiling with your knees, maybe one direction and then the other. Kind of feeling that through the waistline, through the lower lumbar. We'll start with a very gentle twist, a little brief. Let the knees fall to the left-hand side. Bring your arms up nice and wide, and then bend the elbows into cactus position. So you're likely work toward have the back right shoulder blade against the earth, palms facing the sky, and then gently turning your gaze toward the right, so the opposite direction of where your knees are. Let's take 3 deep breaths in here. Whenever we're in a twist, sometimes the breath gets a little stuck in this wounded shape, so really still breathe into the belly as well as your back body. 2 more cycles of breath. Breathing nice, full and complete breaths in through nose, filling lungs and belly, and then out completely from the nose or the mouth, from belly to lungs. Let's use your core muscles, your feet, your arms. Switch and change, other side. Knees fall to the right. Gaze and nose toward the left. Hands stay in the same position, but this time it's the back of your left shoulder blade working to meet its way toward the floor. Deep inhale. Full exhale. 2 more cycles of breath. What's really neat is that here the breath is being pulled from the external side, the external force of energy, things around you, pulling you right deep into the internal body of the core. So notice how you have this accessibility to be able to pull that energy in. And if it is coming toward the internal body, then you also have the opportunity to let it reach where is necessary and then exhale it out and through as a way of creating clarity and space. Bring the knees back to center, a little hug. Extend your right leg up toward the sky and keep the left foot toward the floor, knee bent for now. If you have a strap handy, you're going to bind it around the ball of your foot. If you don't, take the hands to the back of the hamstring and maybe start to move the hands up toward the top of the leg, toward the heel end. So the physical stretch here is for the hamstring. So we're going to ensure that the back of the spine, where that we just twist, is committed toward the floor. And then slowly start to extend your left leg to straight and see what that might feel like for the hip. Take a deep breath in here, and then maybe allow your foot or your toes to reach a little higher overhead. We're going to keep the neck and shoulders flushed in contact with the floor. Deep breath in here, slow exhale. Let's take the leg out to the right side, opening up through the inner hip and inner thigh. Notice if there's any lifting or peeling off of the left side of the body, especially the low spine or the shoulder blade. If that's the case, you can turn your left palm down to the floor and really start to anchor the arm and the shoulder blade. If it's the hip, you can take your left hand toward the top of the left hip and then just gently add some weight to ground it down. Deep breath in, full breath through. Switch and change to twist. So you're going to switch hands, the left hand around the strap or your leg. Right foot falls to the left hand side, right palm counters the weight and allows the shoulder blade flush to the floor here. Deep breath in, full breath through. And then slowly release by untwisting. Unloop the foot if you use the strap, both knees together. Here coming into a flex spine, so you're going to round up. Bring your nose or your forehead close toward your knees. Take a very gentle squeeze and hug. Hold your breath for 3, 2, 1. Exhale and release. Knees bent, feet to floor. Let's go to the other side for that hamstring stretch. So whether you're using the strap or not, the leg is kicking up toward the ceiling. That's it. And stay with the hamstring stretch, so pulling the leg up and overhead perhaps, or the hands a little closer toward that foot. A few breaths there to let the breath warm into the muscle of the leg for the first initial stretch. And then you can progress to a bit more length and space by extending the right leg if that suits your need. Let's inhale and open the left leg out to the left-hand side. So staying attentive and alert through the breath. When we lie down, it does tell our body to kind of get sleepy and tired. So really position the focus with the breath, noticing where it's going in your body, filling the spaces, where you might be feeling the tension, and where you're enjoying the part of the stretch in your body as well. Let's inhale, bring the leg back through center, crossing for our twist. Left leg moves to right hand side. Left arm extends out to straight palm flat down to help anchor that back shoulder. Is your breath really short on the inhale or vice versa? And can you start to smooth it out? So there's becoming a nice balance now between the inhale amongst the exhale, working its way toward a seamless fluidity. That's it. And then inhale, bringing the leg back to center. Release the leg, foot strap, knees into the middle, rock side to side. So you're going to use some rock and rolls here, but if it pains your spine, then gently come towards sitting by moving your hips, your legs to one side, and then pushing your way up through your hands. If you're okay with the rock and roll, that's it. Use your feet like a little momentum, like you would kick on a swing. And then come all the way up towards seated, toes touch, and keep the hands underneath the thighs. Notice if your spine is sinking or rounding in, you'll feel a bit of pressure there. We're going to activate the core muscles, be on your sits bones, and elevate the heart. Remember when you lifted the shoulders up toward the ears? Let's do that here. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, draw the shoulders back, but let your heart lift up toward the sky. Now start to recline back any amount until you start to feel your core muscles kind of quiver with a little bit of a tremble maybe, but really, really activated. So we're not feeling the low spinal erector muscles take over. You want to allow the front line to engage. And then for some of you, if you'd like, you can even take your feet up off the floor. You do have your hands there. Another option is to let go of the hands, but then we want to make sure that you're not engaging really, really hard with your hip flexors. Any of those options, neither is better or worse. Find the place for you, and the focus and intention is to activate the core. So you're going to stay here for 10 gentle breaths. So these breaths are a little shorter in nature. It would almost be like our belly button is kissing back toward our lower spine. So inhale, exhale. Little picking up, sweeping like actions. The belly is drawing in. That's it. We probably already have 5 more to go because they're quick. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Toes down and then bow over the legs and spine. This time we'll take our rock and rolls for 3. And I'd like you to try using your core engagement to rock and roll onto your feet. If you have tender knees or your back, then don't do it onto your feet. You're going to swing your legs around to one side and we'll all meet into a fold. If you want to watch first, this is how we'll go. Rock and roll 1. See the momentum of the feet kicking 2. And then on 3, I'm really going to engage my core, use my feet, and possibly bow over my legs. Try any part of that, so long as you're not injured along the knees or the back. And if you are, do the sweep style, bring the legs around to one side, hands and knees up onto your feet, step, step. Great willingness, everybody. Bow to forward fold. Interlace your fingers toward your low back, knees bent. As you extend your knuckles up toward the sky, notice the shoulders. Keep them broad, away from the ears. Let your heart lead the way down to the front, and then just soften the neckline by sweeping the chin in. Now we'll go for the base of the legs, toes wide, and begin the extension through the backs of the knees. So asking our bodies if we're forcing with our mind's ego, listening to our bodies to see, hey body, like kind of where am I at today? And then as we hold for a longer length of time, it's important to communicate with the body and even let our bodies know that we're grateful and happy for the way that we move, the way that our body carries us, and allow us to do the things that bring us joy. The mind of the body is encompassed of full consciousness. It's this really great beauty of light and energy that we often can't really see. But as you place yourself in this time of great attention, you get to feel it. And maybe even with your eyes closed, you can imagine what that might look like for you. Now with your mind and your body on board together, recall the intention that you personally set for yourself. Slowly release your hands from in behind you. Inhale for a halfway raise, so there's length in your back, your legs. Exhale, bow to forward fold, bend your knees and ragdoll to rise. Come to standing arms by your side, mountain pose, turning the palms to the front. Let's do that lift of the shoulders once again. And it's nice because then it allows our body to really feel the difference when we can let go. We're going to do a few cycles of breath of joy, and it'll aliven and bring some energy into our body, especially when we've started lying down. So our first inhale draws the length of the arms as you reach up. You can do it with me and we'll start really slow. We are still going to inhale when we bring the arms out wide. It's like you're giving somebody a really big hug that you haven't seen in a really long time. And then we're going to go back up, still inhaling. And then as you exhale, a little bend into your knees, mindful of your spine. You're going to throw the arms back and almost ragdoll the head and the upper spinal body to exhale all the way out and through. And then we come back up again. Just be mindful that when you're throwing in and letting go in that outward breath action, that you're not going to like give your head or your neck a little whiplash, okay? It's a letting go and a dropping and a releasing, but we're not pulling in with our muscles. So I'm going to show you again, we inhale up toward the sky as the reach, and then we inhale wide with our arms, We inhale back up toward the sky again, and then now is the exhale, and then you fully let go there. Okay? So pause for a moment, gather your space and intention so that we do it with intent. Your intention personally, and the intent of the movement, yes, to awaken and give energy, but also with the aspect of what we bring in comes deeper into connection through this core of the body, the clarity, connection, and space, and what allows you to come in through the depth, you can therefore let go from this place of internal core. Starting standing, we'll begin a few together, and then our pace is going to quicken up a little as we go as a class. Inhale up, inhale wide, inhale up, exhale it out. Inhale up, inhale wide, inhale up, exhale it out. Inhale up, inhale wide, inhale up, exhale it out. A little faster, inhale up, inhale wide, inhale up, exhale it out. Inhale up, inhale wide, inhale up, exhale. Inhale up, inhale wide, inhale up, exhale. Two more, inhale up, inhale wide, inhale up, exhale. Last one, inhale up, inhale wide, bring all that energy in, exhale, let it go, drop down and hang low. Catch up to your breath, breathe the exhale slowly. Let your heart rate start to move back toward more of a resting pace. Exhale slowly. And gently take it down to your first downward dog. Now, if you're not ready for downward dog, if you're feeling any tenderness in the wrist line today, you can always start with child's pose. Gaze back at your feet, dropping your heels right in line with the second toe. Hips extending toward the sky, belly toning, core engaged, and then the breath is really vibrant in your body. So that means nice, strong inhales and exhales. Strong as in present, but not forceful. Ripple forward to high plank, pause here. Let's do a little balance to help our spine and our hips. So you can stay in high plank just for a moment and then release your right toes off the mat. Everything feeling a-okay in your spine, your hips. Place the right toes down, try your left foot out. Upper body stays the same, stable, hands under shoulders. Both toes down, take a bend in your elbows, lower down through your reverse push-up. Inhale, rise, take your back bend, low cobra up dog, and then exhale, return to downward facing. Inhale, right leg up toward the sky and twirl around with your foot in your arch line. Bend your right knee, take some circles with the right knee. Take a deep breath in and straighten your right leg out. Little tricky twist here. Work at bringing your right knee toward your left shoulder. Left elbow, rather. I'm sorry. Inhale your right leg straight back up toward the sky. We'll do the same thing again. Right knee to left elbow. Nice. Inhale right leg up toward the sky and step your right foot forward. Come on to fingertips of the left hand and point the thumb toward the front of your mat. Inhale, right arm to sky, twist. Let's reach back with our right fingertips toward our left heel. And then take a big circle sweep, reach forward to the front of your mat, and then all the way windmill that arm back again. You can stay with that movement for the last 3 breaths that we're gonna hold this lunge, or you can keep a still lunge, or maybe even stay in twist. You have options there. The encouragement is to move the breath in your body. With the movement or stillness that you create, the breath is always in motion, like water, like a wave. That's it. When we move, we release some of the stuck stagnation of energy through our muscles, through the stretchiness of our mind's thoughts. Exhale, hands, palms down to the earth, step back, down dog. We'll take our slow ripple forward to high plank, and once again we'll pause here. So activating the core, belly pulls in. You might try again to lift the right toes off the mat. If you felt pretty comfortable with that one, go right toes off the mat and then come on to fingertips of the left hand. So balance here, engage the core so the hips are level and the shoulders are still level with one another. Heart is vibrantly forward. Right toes down, left palm down if you lifted it. Let's try the left toes out, little lift. Maybe possibly fingertips of the right hand. Excellent. Your feet and your palms to the earth, bend your elbows, slowly lower your weight down. Inhale, rise to your back bend of choice. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left leg toward the sky. So here we're going left knee to right elbow. Inhale, left leg to sky. Left knee to right elbow. All right, no more of that. Left leg to sky and step forward in between the hands. Come onto the fingertips of your right palm and thumb, and then take the left arm up in your twist. Nice work. Let's windmill reach back. So we open the chest, the delt, the shoulder, and then come all the way forward. Nice long reach to the front again. So after your body has had a chance to explore it on the left-hand side, you decide, do I need that movement or do I need to be still? But either or variation, your breath is really moving inside your body. So pull it in fully, belly and lungs. Exhale it completely, lungs and belly. Pull it in fully, belly and lungs. Exhale completely, lungs and belly. Very good job. Left palm down to the earth, step back, down dog. Let's use our hands and walk our way to the back of our mat now. Take a deep breath in, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Now this time you can come into a fold of your choice. If you like the one we started with, interlace your fingers. You might grab onto your elbows or your legs. But with what you choose, your choice and your decision, it's something serving you. Often we know within our mind and our brain's logical thought, we know what we need. But do we give ourselves what we need? Do we honor our bodies and love our bodies enough that we give ourselves what we need? Slowly release, bend your knees, ragdoll your way to standing. And we'll come back toward the top of your mat, arms by your side in mountain pose. Let's do a nice renewing, cleansing breath here together. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands and palms meet. So you have choices for our standing balance pose. We are going to start with the weight in the right leg. There is intention here because we're going to be opening into a different pose. So weight is in the right leg. You can choose tree pose. This one here, opening through the hips, physical balance, breath work. Or you can cross the ankle over the thigh and work the outer back hip, the glute, and the piriformis in your figure four shape. Here or here. And just make sure everybody we're in our right leg, or you're standing on your right foot. Okay, good. And choose the one you like and start to sit in it with your breath. Let the concentration move just a little away from the having and thinking of balance and placing your attention with your breathing. And then allowing the intention that you personally set to weave in with the breath here as you focus. 2 more. That's it, last one. And coming up with a sense of control, slowing it down. As smoothly as you went in, you'll smoothly step out and back. Uncross foot or undo the sole foot and step it back. You're going to angle your left foot at 45 degrees. Hands on your hips, turning the hips into a square position and then slowly bowing over the right leg. Now it's nice if you do have some blocks, otherwise you're on fingertips here. Going to get a little bit more into the soleus, the base of the calf, especially from standing on it for balance. So start to lift the toes up, lift the ball of your right foot up, and maybe the toes might point closer back toward your chest. Be very mindful that we're not locking out the knee joint just to make the foot come off. If it's uncomfortable for the foot to lift, just place the toes back down and continue working the stretch of the hamstring. last breath as you remain. Using your hands to tripod the right foot, take your hands a little further forward and then come off the left back toes and look back at your foot. You're only going to bring it up to the height where you're creating an L shape with the legs. So that means you're so attuned to where the left leg is in space that we're not going to bring it higher than hip level or even lower than hip level. If it's a compromise of the hamstring, then just bend the right knee a little. Kick back firmly through the left of the leg. Super strong. And you're going to make your way up to standing by anchoring the right leg into the earth, bending the left knee now, and your hands slowly start to come away from the floor. Core engaged from all that work there. And then let the left knee and thigh ride up to the chest, and you can even catch it with your hands and your palms. Take a moment to just settle into your foundation, right foot toes wide, maybe the knee bending and allowing your body just to kind of sink a little closer toward the floor. One more breath here. As you're pulling the leg in close to the body, bringing space here to the low back body, tailbone points down, and release. Feet to floor, arms by your side. Allow yourself to experience what may surface or bubble up. Use your breath to trace and wander through the body, searching and feeling for stagnation. Often represented in the mind or the mind of the ego, represented as stagnation can be doubt. Is there anything here that you might doubt, especially within yourself? Here, working the breath, the movement of the body as healing and of facilitating change, growth. Let's reset other side. Inhale, arms to sky. Exhale out, let it wash through. So choose the one that you need, whether that was tree pose or figure four, and let's balance out the shape here on the other side of the leg. Weight standing in the left foot, you got it. Here we go. Beautiful focus, good drishti with the eyes, staying committed. Very slowly inhaling to come up. That's it, hands on your hips. Right leg takes that little step back. Angle the back right heel 45 degrees so that you can position your hips more into square. If you're having trouble with the balance here, just step your right leg out a little wider. Take a deep breath in, lift the heart, chest. Exhale, forward folding over your left foot. So with the weight on your fingertips or a pair of blocks to support you, you'll start lifting up the toes, exploring the sensation, being mindful of no pain, nor strain, especially to the back of the left knee joint, so there's a softness there. And then offering your heart to meet closer toward the toes as you bow toward the earth. And pull that breath in fully, right to the core of your body, and exhaling completely. It's almost as though your breath can really wash in and through your body, just accessing right to the very midpoint of where you know your body to be, and exhaling right from that point, letting it radiate all the way out and through. Healing and cleansing and bringing forth even more clarity than you ever thought possible. Let's release by stepping weight into the left foot, and the hands come a little closer to the front, tripoding through that left side leg. You can step into it, and as you gaze back to your right foot, you'll be able to gauge how high or low to position the heel. You do want it in that L perpendicular shape, level with your hip. That's it. So some of you could go a teeny bit higher in your kick.
There you go. And now imagine that foot is against the wall and really push through the ball end of your right foot and pull the right femur bone closer into hip. So much so that it allows your left inner thigh to turn outwardly. It's going to be important for us later in the next couple of positions. So let your body become familiar with it and sink into it with breath. Very slowly, we're going to pendulum up toward a standing position. So firstly, a little bend into the left knee can help, toes wide. And as you bend your right knee in, keep pressing your left foot into the ground as you work your way to stand. Right knee thigh come close to chest, and then your hands clasp the front of the knee. Nice work. We'll stand into it nice and tall here, pulling leg close toward your chest for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Feet to floor, arms by your side. Let's take a cleansing breath and move that energy. Exhale, come to a standstill, or what we call samastitihi. Acknowledging now in the time, the presence, and what is here for you as beautiful gifts that unveil as you continue to unwrap the body and the mind of the practice. Let's take the feet out nice and wide. Toes level with one another, heels down. And before we come to fold, just look at your feet and make sure that your arches are lifting. They're really bright. Legs are fully engaged here. Use your core muscles. Soft bend into knees. Go ahead, bow, forward, fold. That's it. Bring palms down to the earth. And let's move our right hand directly underneath our gaze. Now again, if the floor is a far distance away, you can use a block or come up onto fingertips. Take the left palm and move it to the low back and sacrum. Push into the right hand so the spine is long, almost parallel to the ground. Take a deep breath in and roll that left shoulder up toward the earlobe like we did at the start of our practice. And now start to move the heart chest toward the left-hand side. Good. Did your left hip come forward or lift up at all? Keep placing the left hand back. Turn the hips and pelvis even. Is the breath still moving? Did it get stuck, especially in rotation? A little challenging in this position. Inhale to slowly untwist, unwind. Let's settle the torso. And then gently moving to the other side. So the left palm down. Right palm to low back sacrum. Right shoulder comes up toward the ear really closely. And then wide onto the back body. As you press into the left hand at the same time, turning your heart to the right. Deep breath in, full breath through. Inhale to slowly undo and wind. So in the next one, Skandasana, we can take it high or low. It's like a ninja-like position. We'll start with the right leg, right hamstring. Lift up your right toes and pivot on the heel. Hands are still to the floor. We're going to start to walk our hands more toward the left of the knee and thigh as we bring our hips and our buttocks wide and back. So accessing the space here to the inner thigh and the groin, gauging how that might feel. We're going to be very mindful that we don't overstretch this area, so the thigh muscle, the quads are fully engaged, squeezing. If you feel that the left knee is okay, no pain, no strain, you are more than welcome to lower the back, hips, and seat closer toward the earth. There's a huge degree of bend into the knees, so this needs to be comfortable in your body, no pain, no strain. Your arms might be working a fair amount to really support your body, so keep the fingertips pressing into your mat as much as you need. Excellent. Switch and change. So use the hands. Lift the hips, the buttock up toward the sky, and we'll go to the other side. Lift left toes so that you're pivoting on the heel. Start bending the right knee and walking the hands up wide to the right. So yes, you're really balancing on that left heel there. Engage the leg, If you're comfortable with it, you're more than welcome to sit the hips low and down, and broaden through the chest. So here, where do you feel like the most of the tightness and the stretch? You're going to send your breath right there. Use your exhale and let it wash right through that place of tension. When we feel stuck or when something is stopped, there's no flow and movement. And sometimes our breath gets that way. We get caught up in something, or if we're in deep concentration, then the breath gets held. Here you have the opportunity in your practice to really focus on how that breath can be moving in a flowing, constant, and very liberated-like fashion. Is there intention behind this position as well for what you personally set as the beginning of your practice? If not then what are we practicing for? Let's move our way back to center. Really good. Heel till the legs more closely in. Ensure we're using the leg strength in our core on this one. Soften knees, hands to hips. Point the elbows toward the sky and come up with a long spine and open heart to stand. Arms by your side, mountain pose. Find a sense of stillness for the physical body and notice how the breath stays in motion. Big inhale, big exhale. So we're going to use a series of a few positions to transition in and through from. And it's not going to be about the objective in having to stay balanced the entire time, but it's going to really be about what you set as your personal intent, and about that idea and aspect again of being able to use the breath to access the space and the clarity for the concentration that we need, so that we're not reacting impulsively. Okay? So you can certainly use your strap for this one if you like, because we're going to start by binding the right foot. Now, if a strap is not handy for you, it's totally fine. You can bend your right knee and carry the leg with the knee bent. So I'm just showing you from the side, from the aspect of the side here. So you're going to carry the right knee here, or if you're using the strap around the foot, then you're going to carry the right foot here, and then maybe work to an extension, like any amount the leg might extend. Okay, good. Hold it there. And yeah, certainly if you want to grab a hold of the foot too and do it that way, for sure. So your body's memory might feel that we did this against the floor when we were lying down. So we want to have those same aspects where the low spine, low lumbar, and the pelvis is nice and flushed and level. So we're not kicking our right foot forward and finding a misalignment there, as well as the backs of the shoulder raised. So we're going to stand up nice and tall and lean back a little. Good, and then remember the one we did lying on the floor where you brought your right leg out to the side and found some space for your inner thigh and your hip. Go ahead and do that. And as it wings out toward the side, be mindful that the left knee and the toe are still pointing in the same direction, because sometimes they want to kind of journey and turn outwardly. That's it, great work. We're going to do one more, and as we did lying against the floor, instead of crossing the leg all the way over, we're just going to bring it back in front. And then we're going to use the upper spine to twist. So switch, left hand comes to the strap or the outer right thigh. Push down through the heel and the toe of the left foot, and now start to twist by pulling the right shoulder up. Yes. And then all the way back, and you're opening your chest and your heart toward the right. Do anything you need. You can extend your right arm back, but not if it compromises the shoulder and the chest. Good. So from the side here, coming into that open twist. Sometimes what happens is your right hip and your butt lift up. So you're going to drop it back down as though you were doing this lying on the floor. A couple more breaths. Doing really well. We got one more little transition. Stay with it. That's it. Let's turn your chest and shoulders back to square forward. Hands on hips.
core engaged to support the right leg lifted. You're slowly going to let that right leg step back. Okay, good. When the right toes land to the floor, use your right hand and cross it to the outside of your left foot. Land it. Nice job, that's it, good. Left thumb tucks into the crease of the left hip to help tack it back. Now start to open up your twist in the opposing direction on your left. Open it right up. And this time, if you like, you can even take your left arm up toward the sky. Lean back with your heart and your shoulder blades. Big smile, spread the fingers out nice and wide. Last breath, hold it. Okay, slowly release it. Let's come closer down to the floor. Step back, downward dog. Paddle it out. Breathe it through. Maybe rinse that whole little series out with a vinyasa, so taking your flow if you wish. Exhale, downward dog. Pause to sit in the body's energy. Stay with downward dog or child's pose. Pause to let the emotions surface up and bathe through the body if necessary. And then you're going to literally and physically pick yourself right back up and get back onto your feet. Ready, rise, inhale, come back to standing. Let's take a cleansing and also synced class breath together. So you're going to inhale really big. You're going to exhale and sigh it out more audibly and vocally toward you, of course. So let's do that together. Inhale, arms reach all the way up. Big sigh, let it out. So now your mind is anticipating and knows the next positions in order. We're going to set it up in the present time. Stand weight into the right foot. Go ahead and bind your left foot or hold the knee and the thigh. So noticing the pieces, and when we developed the little bit of energy toward the core, you want to be able to use that here. Imagine yourself lying down on the floor, really bringing the spine upright and tall, back so the shoulder blades flushed. It's really easy to let the body come forward on this one. Deep breath in. Move the left leg to the left. Gentle exhale, start opening it up. Good, no rush. Let the breath stay smooth and swimming through the body. Nice and light, super easy, no big deal here. Breath is the focus. Inhale, bring the leg gently back to center. Carefully maneuvering the switch and change. Right arm to the outside of left leg or the strap. We'll do that shoulder thing where you're lifting the shoulder up toward your ear and then really bringing it wide back and behind you, really exaggerating the openness of the chest and the heart, and then let your heart freely turn to the left as you reach back with that left hand. Inhale, slowly come through center. We're going to let go of the strap of the leg. Bring your hands on your hips. Use your core to keep the left knee lifted. And then as we extend and travel back with the left toes, you're going to look down at your right foot for reference. And your left hand is going to touch the floor. Right on. On a block or fingertips, absolutely. Inhale the right arm up toward the sky and twist. Is your breath going, or did it stop there for a little bit? There we go. Smooth it out, even if the belly's in rotation, or squeezing through the rotation. A nice gentle inhale to unwind. All right, your call now. You can take it back through downward dog, child's pose, maybe even vinyasa, but we will meet in child's pose all together in a quick moment.
you can bend your elbows and place your right hand on top of your left hand so that the very forehead, third eye, space between the eyebrows is resting gently on the knuckles. You want to allow the knuckles to feed back and give just a little bit of a massage toward the center of the eyebrows and the forehead. So some of you may know that that's the very highest point where clarity is within the body, or the very tip top of the chakras. So here, bringing physical attention with your hands, your knuckles to this space. And it's not just to allow the thinking to be more clear, to serve us better, but it is also there as a place and a point of energy to enhance your creativity. We'll start to feed into your creative abilities with your attention as we stay for another 2 breaths. Use your inhale to slowly come out. Pause, take a moment, reset your intention. As we get back to, or as we move down toward the floor, sometimes the focus can drift away a little. So go knees wide, toes together, saddle pose for our quads, and then we'll stay with some stretches for our hips. Hands start to walk their way back. You'll lift the hips up, tuck the tail underneath, and find a bit more space to the hip flexors and the quadriceps. You may wish to keep walking your way down until possibly landing onto the elbows, the forearms. If you're about halfway or somewhere in between, it's better just to stay up a little higher and use the hands and palms. Low gaze, back of the neckline is easy, no strain at all. Using your hands in behind you to slowly walk your way up. Bring hands and palms in front. I'll stay on the knees. One leg can extend back here. And really push back through the heel, open up the back knee, the calf again. Let's do a little bit of care for our wrist here. So with your left hand, you're going to turn the fingers outwardly. Now if it's too much to point the fingers directly back to the knee, then you can turn the hands maybe about halfway. So I'm going to go for just a little gentle rocking forward and back action, doubling up with that back leg as well. So the fingertips in front here, opening up the forearm, the flexor muscles, really easing up on the wrist from some of those downward dogs. That's it. Let's go to the other side. So slowly turn the left arm back, bring the right knee in, extend the left leg back, start with a little moving back of the calf, and then you can add the right hand when you're ready. So the fingertips go outward versus inward, okay? I'm gonna open up the chest and the shoulder. Those of you that do a lot of typing, just opening up those muscles, bringing some space into those areas where there was a lot of effort and activity. And slowly release, we'll come to sit. Facing forward, legs in front, knee bent. Hip stretch one, sitting on the beach, right leg crosses over left thigh. Hands in behind, little press forward of the chest. Or hands cradling the leg and gently drawing the chest toward the leg with a bow. If you're taking a bowing-like variation, again, always be mindful that we're not putting pressure into the low spine. You want to still have the heart forward, but I can still bow into it by drawing my chest more toward the shin.
For those of you that require a deeper stretch in order to feel and create more space, then the left leg can cross over to the right hand side. This one's called our double pigeon. A handy block can be supported for the hip flexor if the knee feels quite well raised. Sits bones are level with one another if you're choosing this one. And then a bowing forward variation with the hands in front, or a press back variation with the fingertips in behind. So just ensure that you can see the arch line, the toes are strong, flexing back, the tibia or the muscles of the shin are working just in place to support the knees as we bear just a little bit of weight when we come forward or when we're pushing from behind. A few breaths here in the stillness and the silence. Slowly recover. Notice what is speaking with your body, your mind in that moment. Gently undo and cross. Make any gestures or maneuvers to help let that hip settle before going to the other side. And start with this one, left ankle over right thigh. And cradling the leg and coming forward with the chest, long spine. Fingertips in behind you, proud chest, lifted heart. Maybe doubling up and finding the shins and the feet and the legs to stack. All right, a few breaths here. Part your lips, let your jawline relax. Just allow the breath to seep in. And letting go of the control over your breath. By allowing it to come and leave. And just accepting what is now. Slowly release by using your hands, your palms, walking your way up. Uncross and do. And stay seated tall for a quick moment. Right hand to your heart, left palm to your belly. I'm going to take 3 settling breaths before we move our body to physical rest in Shavasana. So eyes closed or a low gaze. Take a heaping breath into the belly. Keep inhaling, feel the lungs and the heart lift. Exhale, let your heart soften, the lungs release the breath. Exhale from the belly. And again, inhale to your belly. Inhale to your lungs. Exhale from your lungs. Exhale from your belly. And let the breath right into the center of your body, accessing its core. Exhale from the lungs and the belly. And just allow your breath to return to a nice organic, smooth and natural rate. As you start to make your way to lie down, You need little gestures or maneuvers to let yourself settle, such as rock side to side or happy baby. Feel yourself free to do so.
And then gently by now, moving your way slowly into Shavasana. Letting your physical body rest, your feet may flop to the side. Arms alongside you, heart naturally lifting and open. Sink deeper into the earth with your back body with every cycle of breath. You can change your location, meet new people, and still have the same old problems. To truly change your life, you need to look inward, get to know and love yourself, and heal the trauma and dense conditioning in your mind. This is how you get to the root. Internal changes have a significant external impact. And take a moment to honor with deep gratitude your body for all that has gifted you up until this very moment. And take a moment to honor the impacts and changes that you've already created, including today on your mat. Let's stay this deep connection that you have with yourself. As you begin to move mindfully, move willingly, and move with a sense of joy for that you can move this way.
you'll start to further your position where your knees are bending and where you're resting on one side. And gently pressing your way slowly up towards seated. And fold your hands and palm together. May we continue to be wise with the words that we choose to speak. For knowing the power of what exists within us internally can impact the world, the people, and the things around us externally. With gratitude to yourselves and this great practice that we get to participate in, namaste. Lovely work, everybody. Thanks for coming on Monday.